Welcome back to Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined by Kev the Great One. Kev, man, what were those clips you pulled? That didn't make any sense.
I pulled me and you from last week and T from the week before about the Grateful Dead. So I tacked
It's
that
like
thing
a
on the
little
end.
rambly, I felt like.
At the end when he said, "Yeah, you're right," after your thing, that was from two totally separate shows.
Well, I am right. I am right. Anyway,
Usually.
welcome back, guys. We had a fun one to talk. We're going back to 93, March 31st, 93. Pretty fun show. I gotta say, I'm fine with early fish, and I'm not trying to like be the contrarian, but like I think there's a drop off, right? When you go too far back. I like listening to early fish, but I think when you go too far back, it's a lot less consistent. And a number of the 92, 93 shows we've listened to here have not fully done it for me. I gotta say though, this show I
Right.
really, really enjoyed, and I thought this was actually a really good one.
Right. Fourth time they played the Roseland Theater, I believe, and it was the 42nd show of the tour. So that's something to keep in mind. The other notable thing, it was only the 10th sample that they had ever played.
Yeah, that's crazy. How are they 40? That's crazy that they're 40 something shows in March too.
42nd show, right? Yeah. Well, they started in probably February. I think that year I saw them in at the Lisner like the day before my birthday on 2/17 maybe, or maybe a
Yeah.
week before my birthday. So yeah, they had been, and they were playing 5 nights a week.
Yeah. They're putting in the work, grinding it out. All right, let's
That's
get
why
into
they
this.
are where they are today.
Oh man. So I
Again,
like
another
this.
Jim.
Really like Jim opening, and I like the earlier versions even better. I forgot how patient. I mean, maybe this didn't change. I'm just so used to like the newer versions, but this felt so patient where they bring it down and he's just chunking along before it pops back in.
Right.
It's like an extra few. It's honestly just like an extra like 2 bars of it, but it was enough to be kind of like off settling, but like in a cool way. Like what? And then they hit it, and you're like, oh, this is awesome.
Right. I loved when they used to do that. When they would just let it go. Yeah, I mean, even they got like 30 seconds into it and Trey would pull back. And now it seems like it is rushed. Like there are, we've played this song before. Maybe it's that they don't play it all the time. So they aren't as familiar with the nuances of it. They know the blueprint of it and boom. But I mean, Runaway Jim Foam has to be one of the top 10 classic openers for PHiSH
Yeah.
as a
I think
pair.
I think maybe they've become too efficient as far as like not sitting in things and being patient as much.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
it's a very minor difference, but it makes all the difference in the world. Same thing. Well, not the exact same thing, but this foam was also really really solid. I mean, what a way to kick things off. I think Mike was I don't know. The whole show, Mike and PHiSH, I was going back and forth, just like super impressed and in awe. Just like, man, these because they're still good, but like there was an extra pop to the way they played. I feel like
Right.
that maybe is not fully there anymore.
Right, their technical prowess was completely on display for this whole set. They played a lot of really Foam, Mound, Reba, Bowie. They played all these complex, hard songs, and they nailed them because they were doing a Foam still every third night, so they were very familiar with it. Whereas if they do Foam now and they get through it, we're like, yes, they got through it.
Right, that's the bar. It's like, oh man, we got through it without any major flubs.
Oh well, what can
Crowd
you
was
do?
digging it too. They were having a good time.
Sparkle, they did not do a Sparkle at all this year yet. And Sparkle usually gets once a summer. I love Sparkle. People make fun of it. I think it's one of Tom Marshall's best lyrics. It's so packed full of stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, and after foam, it could go anywhere, right? I think it worked. I think this is such a packed show that something like Sparkle just feels kind of like a quick breather or throwaway.
Right.
Right. What did you think about this melt though? Because I know we talk about melt so often, and to have this like type 1 early melt, I'm curious what
Right.
your
Yeah.
thoughts are on those.
Well, I tell you what, Melt and Mound together. Why is this combo not served up more? But
Well, it's
beyond
Melt
that,
is at the end now, right? Melt is a
yeah,
conclusion now.
um, it's weird. You listen to this Melt and you nailed it. It is a type one, straightforward, almost album reading of the song. By August of this year, the Red Rock show and the one before, and the one a couple nights before it that they did split open and Melt, it completely broke open. And I think it was the birth of type two that happened between now and the end of 93, even though it never fully, came to be, I guess, until the late 90s. But yeah, this Melt,
Yeah.
I mean, and in the middle of the set, it's such a great thing. If you were there and you were 4 songs in and you were at a Melt already.
No, it's awesome. I mean, it serves an entirely different purpose than Melts do now.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
what the role it was playing in this show was also really cool. And I think after all the fun, with the foam and all the like, I don't know how you describe it, but that kind of fish, it was cool to have the more like ripping type
Mhm.
Melt there. Yo, what's up, Brian, Mr. E, Ghost,
Bruce,
Martino?
I think
Everybody's
Bruce,
here.
this is not the New York Roseland. This is in Oregon. But
Yeah.
yes, the Roseland in gritty old New York was a interesting spot. A Mound belongs together with Split Open and Melt. I did not realize they were blood brothers until I heard this.
Yeah, it was perfect there. I feel like this is the same set list we had last week, right? Didn't we have Mound 2?
I think we did. And Mound is so fantastic. I guess it's a very difficult song to play. I could ask you that as a drummer. Do you think it is a difficult song?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think, well, I don't know. I think it's a hard song to conceive, right? To figure out the math of the notes. And then once he learned it, like written, and it wasn't actually backbeat, right? It was however the notes are placed. It's not like it takes a lot of chops to play it, but you got to be a good counter, right? I can
Right.
imagine he actually sings, which is another weird thing. When you look at PHiSH playing, he's always like, like moving his mouth like that, not counting. But for me, in order to play this, I would have to count out loud. I'd have to be like 1 and 2
Because
and
it
3.
sounds like it changes tempos, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, they
It's the
just shift the
guitar.
notes on the
Yeah.
beats. Right. It's like, I call it rhythmic modulation. I don't think that's an actual theory term, but like he modulates the rhythm. But yeah, no, it's sweet. I really like the early ones too, because they're more playful and not 100% locked in. I think was another song that became like a like a homogenous every time, right? Like at a certain
Mhm.
point, it landed into its final form, and they never really
That's it,
stray off.
right.
That's it. That's the form now, and this
Which is
is still
good.
before that.
Which is good. I was talking to some people earlier when the Twitter machine there about not every song has to have some huge jam, which we've talked about before. And Mound doesn't need that. It's neat. It's cool. It has a funky lyric. It has the weird beat. It's
Yeah, but I
and
don't
there we go,
mind. Like,
spending all the time on Mound.
no, but it is an interesting topic. Maybe we could talk about this tomorrow night. But like Theme this past year or 2 years ago, they switched it up, right? And it wasn't in its final form. They did something new with it. And I'm of the mindset where I like when things aren't 100% locked in and you don't always get the same version of it. And I guess
Right.
that's to say I kind of would like a Mound that has a little bit different, thing going on in it. But
Something.
I'm
We'll
just
have to
greedy.
we'll have to pull Mound up and see if there's actually a jam chart one that we can
Yeah.
listen to and talk about tomorrow. Punch You in the Eye. Now, Landlady had usurped Punch You in the Eye after it came out on Nectar in 92. I mean, I guess 91 we got all Landladies. Almost every night they opened up with it. Punch You in the Eye. There it is in the middle of the set, and it might be the strongest for me song in the whole set, even though I think some of the other stuff might be more interesting.
Well, this was a bust out. This was 417 show gap,
Okay, so there you go. All right. So
which is crazy to have that big of a show gap that early in the career, right?
because of Landlady, because they
Because of
pulled it
Landlady,
out for
exactly
Nectar,
right.
right?
So I don't know if people were as stat driven as they are now, if people realized it, but like that's a pretty huge bust out.
And it was
for
solid.
93.
They sounded really good because the most difficult part of the song is probably the landlady part, and they'd been playing that every
Yeah,
other
that was
night.
locked in.
Right, that was locked in. So that's great. I didn't catch that. Nice.
It's funny because, like, if you asked me gun to head, like, what, like, two of the most authentic PHiSH sounds are, it's probably punch and sample, up with like
Yeah.
Yem and like double, but like it's so cool. I loved having this punch sample duo right here. Now, this one had gotten a number of plays in that tour. It had
Yeah, it
debuted
was
in
the
that
10th,
tour.
right. Yeah, they debuted it in the beginning, first night of the tour, they debuted it, and it was the 10th one already.
Yeah, and then I think it was pretty locked in at that point. Sounded good.
A little bit different than what we ended up on with the album. I
Yeah.
feel like it was a little more maybe exuberant, maybe, raw. But
Oh,
yeah. So I
Kosnowski was
was
at that show, I think. I don't know if I
nice.
pronounced that right. Kosnowski.
Yeah, I think you got
Assuming
it right the
John or
first time.
Jay.
I think you got it right the first time.
Yeah, I should have
Reba.
just stuck
Now,
with it.
I swear to God that in Reba, the Rebas at this time were another one where they kind of broke through to type 2 a little bit. They took the actual song and changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like 1.5 maybe. Um, I really, really like the vibe they have in this. It's probably the chillerest, most chill vibe
Hmm.
that they have the whole show when they land in it. But I didn't think it
No
got too far
whistling.
out there though. Did it get out there pretty far? I thought it dabbled in it a little bit, but it was still kind of on the rails.
There was a little section right before they went into the fugue part that
Yeah.
was definitely um added something that you didn't normally get. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
something
find
out there.
tweeted about it the other day, but I didn't think to pull it up. I can't find it. I
Oh,
like recognized it was it was, oh, I tell you what it was. They
what was
went
it?
into this like 45-second little thing about 8 minutes into the song that if you pulled it out and I played it for you without you knowing it was Reba, you would say it's got a Jabil.
Oh. And Jabu hadn't come out yet, right?
No, Jabil
That
was
was
years
much
later.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
years
That was like,
later. Like
well,
5-6
funny?
years later.
You say years later, but like that's in like modern context, that's like still like 4 point. You know what I mean? Like that was but yeah, back then there was like 4 albums that came out in between.
Right. Yeah,
Uh
I'll find the tweet and retweet it because I mean I want you to listen to it to see if I'm just making this up in my head, but
yeah, I'll go back and check that out. Um I didn't know with the washboard. I thought that was fun. I think this is a
should it get
better
a
tour.
jam chart? That should be on the jam chart for I didn't know.
I mean, how many I didn't knows are there?
There's a
Uh
mess of them, but this one was extra. They're usually like 3.5 minutes. This was what, push 7, I think.
yeah. It was great. I mean, it was fun. Yeah, there is a mess of them. Holy shit.
Yeah, there is a mess of them. All right, David Bowie. This is why younger people, yes, everything is funny to me today. um this Bowie, if you listen to this is why we lament Bowie when they do it these days.
Yeah. Well, both the opening and the closing and the middle. But okay, so yeah, the whole thing. But I thought I particularly miss or think of the openings when you hear these early Bowies and how much different they were. And with the Simpsons too is the signal, the secret language was really really cool. But I
Right.
mean,
I
even
think
honestly, the climax too is phenomenal. The whole thing, it hits differently.
I feel like Bowie and Antelope and Reba were songs that Trey felt like were PHiSH at one time. Like he was very proud of them. And
Yeah.
I think some of that comes through in the performance where now yeah, everybody loves Bowie. We have to do it a couple times a tour. But I'm
Okay,
really
wait, wait,
more
wait, wait, wait.
interested.
I agree with you, but why you got to throw Antelope and Reba in there? Because I don't agree with you on those two. I agree with
Okay,
you on
okay.
Bowie. If you had just stuck with Bowie, I'd be like, oh, I could see that. But
All right, I'll just stick with Bowie then.
because Antelope fucking slaps still. Like we just heard like 3 really good
A couple
Antelope
good
this
ones
past
we
year.
did. But
And I
it
still
had
think Antelope still has it.
it had a very sketchy scorecard in 3.0.
Yeah, but there were still a few that landed. I would say it's had a better track record than Bowie has. I feel like Bowie's
Oh,
not
yeah.
been able to get back at all. Not to where it
There
used to be.
There we are.
Fun first set. All right. Real quick. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we'll be back with another episode of WOOK Plus Live. I'll try to get my service working better and get our set list done beforehand, so it'll be a little smoother than last week. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this show, the one we're talking about now, and if you disagree with any of our takes, and subscribe to the channel. All right, you want to go into second set?
Okay, can I say something?
Oh, that's always a loaded question because half the time I'm like, yeah, and then the other half it's like, oh man, why did you do that?
Make sure that you guys keep your eyes peeled because on October 9th, we're going to have a special guest host that we're really excited about.
I don't know if you wanted to tease it or not, but yeah, that's good. That's going to be a fun conversation.
That's as teasy as we're getting with it.
Okay. All right, second set.
Now, this is so fantastic that they got the crowd involved for the bridge.
Yeah. It sounded great too, right? The whole kept them singing and everything. I guess I don't know. I didn't hear any banter. Did they tell them to do it, or did everybody just naturally start singing it?
Well, I think that they were just singing it, and Fishman walked away, and the crowd was like one of those spontaneous moments. It's one of those beautiful, spontaneous, just 30 seconds that make Phish what it is. Because Lengthwise, they opened, I think, a few second sets with it around this time because they weren't quite sure what to do with it. And I'm okay with it. What do you think of it as an opener?
I like it as the opener because it always leads into Maze that way and pulling the whole riff thing.
I'm going to get a Maze.
Right. It's like what is the other one that does that? Sense, right?
Yeah.
Or, there's a couple or Silent. Like you
get the horse and
right. Like they're the precursors where like the song itself. I'm not gonna sit here and be a tool and be like, oh, Lengthwise is the greatest song ever, but it's fun, it's quirky, and it goes into Maze, which is one of my favorite songs. So yeah, I like, and it's better. I feel like it works better there than putting it in the middle of a set and like awkwardly, going into it. I think starting
or hold your head or hold your head up in it.
Yeah. Which I like this Harpua version of it better than doing the actual hold your head up, but
Maze. I tell you what, Maze. I know that there's a couple, sometimes it isn't technically as proficient, but I don't think that Maze has ever dropped below 80%.
No, super high batting average. I even like slow Maze. I know a lot of people don't, but it was cool. I thought it had a nice funk to it. This one,
I'm glad they never did it again. I'm glad it didn't show up like slow llamas have showed up again and things,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, I love Maze, and I thought this one was spectacular. PHiSH sounded really good too. He was really high in my mix. I don't know if it was just the headphones or whatever, but like I was surprised. I don't know why, but I was surprised at how well the mix sounded for this show. I was expecting it to be, because we've heard a lot. Usually when we get that far back, it's not that great.
Right, it's an audience recording too. It's an audience recording too. So the obligatory bouncing that we get every week.
I don't have anything to say about it. It was a bouncing.
Uncle Pen, I think, has become a remnant at this point. It's like lingering from the bluegrass phase, whereas an Uncle Pen would not show up 2 or 3 years from now at this point in a set.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed and a huge fan of all of the bluegrass songs in the sense that I like it, but they all kind of sound the same to me. Like when I hear them back to back, I could tell the difference. But like
bluegrass is the lyrics, and bluegrass is a lyrics thing. That's
Right.
how you know the different songs because they have a catchy line in them, and you're like, "Oh, I like that one because it has a cool line in it," you know? And that's not where your head is, you're just hearing the drums.
Right. Exactly. So it's like Nelly Kane, Uncle Pen, Old Home. Like they all sound the same to me. Like, funny enough, I caught like 6 of the last 7 Uncle Pens. So like you're right, it barely played at all in 3.0, but the couple of times they did play it, I
It
just
was
happened to
Chasing
be at
You.
those shows. So I got a
Have you ever
lot
had
of
a
them, but
have you ever had a song Chase You?
apparently Uncle Pen and Numberline. They're
Numberline have
just,
been chasing you.
they're just fucking always there.
Oh, man, that's
Dude, so
fantastic.
this hood was crazy. I don't know what it was, but the beginning of it sounded different. I don't even know if I
Mhm.
liked it. It was neat, but it was a little slower, a little bit different. I don't
I
know how you would describe that.
I think Trey, I think that they were in a mindset where we're trying to push our composed songs to new directions. And I think that this falls under that. Let's try playing it a little offbeat, a little different than we normally do, and see if that opens it up to anything.
Yeah. Which I mean, it's a cool idea, right? And it didn't fall apart or anything. This is one though that I don't love to be fucked with. Right, like this, I do like the final form a lot. This is the you know what? Since we're shitting on modern fish with Bowie, I'll do the reverse. I actually think modern hoods are, in a very anecdotal sense, looking at this one specifically, I'll take the
Better.
modern hood over this.
Right.
But
It is not, don't anybody come after me like people came after the Goose, the guy talking about Goose and Morning Dew. But for me, it is very much their Morning Dew and the joyful, the way it builds at the end and it's
yeah,
triumphant and like that. And I think you're right. It has grown into itself over time.
right. It's filled all the little voids. It's really expanded and filled out, and it benefits from the reps. I gotta
Mhm.
say, of all the big ball jams that I've listened to, and I have not listened to all of them, this was actually on the positive side, right?
All right.
I usually hate these jams. They're so disjointed and hard to listen to. I'm sure they're fun in person, but like doing it after the fact, I usually am not a big fan. But
All right.
this one was short, and it was fine.
I think that listening to it is weird without seeing the balls in front of you bouncing around, but I've always loved it because it falls back on that total chaos thing. They're all playing completely something different, and I'm like, this is a cool place to be for a
Yeah,
minute or two. And then
yeah, yeah.
going into It's Ice, I think it was a great introduction to It's Ice because It's Ice is creepy. And this one had a little extra. They got into the quiet part a little more, and I got chills on this. I was really into the It's Ice.
Yeah, yeah, me too. This is not it doesn't mean anything. Take it for what it is, but I always find it interesting after listening to a full show what naturally gets stuck in my head, right? Like what stands out. And after I listened to this whole show, I was and like that whole part was I wasn't planning on it. There was no reason. It wasn't even the end of the show. But like for that to be the thing that was stuck in my head, I think it must be a really good version, right? Or maybe it's just you know, a tribute to the song itself. But I
Right. Well,
I liked it.
It's Ice was very strong because it had come out on Riff. They've been playing it a lot. Boom. There it is again. It goes back to the repetition thing. And this one they had some fun with. Like I said, there was a little spot at the quiet part where Trey just let it go, let Page go. I mean, I'm talking about things that are 30, 45 seconds here. But
Yeah.
when you look at it in the overall scope of things, you can see the building of the song to where it is today. And then we got the huge, what I guess should have been the centerpiece of the. Go ahead. You got something on
Sorry,
that?
I wanted to because this is interesting to me. So in March, they played It's Ice because I want to emphasize your point. I'll start in the middle of the month when it starts to get really consecutive. The 13th, 16th, 17th, 19th, 22nd, 25th, 27th, 28th, 31st. So like this whole idea of like no repeats in a tour or whatever, they
Yeah.
played it like 12 times or something in the back
In
half of
16
March.
shows, right? In 16
Right.
shows, they played it 12 times, right?
So like there is it was talking about fresh in your fingertips. I mean,
Right.
that's as much as you can get. That's so crazy to see
And
every show like that.
right, and you're exploring it then because you're playing it every night. It's almost like a live rehearsal of it. A live,
Yeah.
not maybe not rehearsal because rehearsal, I guess, implies coming up with a final product, but maybe like a live, like feeding the organism, seeing
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
can morph into.
I wonder if
I
modern
guess
jam bands suffer from this pressure to have
right.
setlist diversity because they see like the grown
No,
ass
no, right,
jam bands that never repeat, and so they're like, oh, we have to just
right,
play 1,000
right.
songs instead of hashing it out.
Right, Ryan Stasek, when I was talking to him once, said something about the unwritten rule of jam bands that you can't repeat songs night to night. Because he was saying, when we write a new song, I would love to play it every night,
Well,
or
maybe
every,
you should.
it's your new
Maybe
toy.
fans
It's
should
like,
chill the
check it
fuck
out.
out.
Right, check it out. I think You Enjoy Myself was meant to be the centerpiece of the set.
Yeah.
Um, and it was good, but I mean, I can't differentiate this one from any other You Enjoy Myself from 89 to 94.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because, like I said in the first set, these shows are so cramped packed because like 80% of their catalog is fire, at this point.
Right.
And like you say that, but like you have a maze, a hood, it's ice, a yam, and a harpua all in the same
Yeah, but
set.
now they're big. At that moment, they weren't.
Well, I'm now, like I'm here now. I'm not in that mindset, right? It's so I don't know. You think that's the centerpiece though? Because I would have thought that like I guess I would have thought the Harpua even then was meant to be like the big centerpiece.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, You Enjoy Myself
I don't.
is the ultimate composed piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do. Oh no, my connection is starting to get fucked up. Rapid
That's all right.
fire.
Only time they played
Axl
She's So
Rose.
Cold.
Yeah, so that's not the Beverly Hills Cop song. That they cut the Beverly Hills and then did She's
Went
So
into a
Cold.
Rolling Stones song. Rolling
Yeah,
Stones, yeah.
they
Yeah,
should have
Axel
kept with.
Foley, not Axel Rose, Axel Foley. Beverly Hills Cop. They played the Beverly Hills Cop theme.
They should have
Biz
jammed that
Archive,
out for a while.
right?
That was
Biz,
awesome.
Biz Archive. If you're watching this, make sure you add that before She's So Cold. They play the theme from Beverly Hills Cop. And you know what?
Why
I
don't
do
you
not like.
tweet at him? He would love that.
I
But do it in a
tweeted it
very
earlier.
like talking down type tone. Like, how
Oh
could you
yeah,
miss this?
right. I tweeted it earlier, so it was almost like a subtweet, I guess, because I
Yeah.
didn't tag him in it. She's So Cold is not my favorite Rolling Stones song. Interesting, they cut it short. I wish that if you're gonna do it, do the whole thing instead of just copping out after the second verse.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's in a Harpua, so I forgive it, right? It's like
Right,
anything goes in a Harpua. You can They probably didn't learn it all. They probably was just like a spur of the moment, like throwing it in type of thing, right?
right, like the Jumpin' Jack Flash or Satisfaction. Why is it always a Rolling Stones song that just kind of pops up out of nowhere?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It
Yeah.
depends on the song.
Yeah.
Depends on the song. Chalk Dust to close the set is I'm a big fan. Good for them.
Who were they talking about right before the chalk dust? Was it Bonnie Raitt?
Yeah.
He said that he had a crush on her and for people to tell her to sit in. Do you happen to know, did she sit in the next show?
No, I do not think Bonnie Raitt ever played with
That would have been really
PHiSH.
great.
Winona did. She was crushing hard on Trey.
Yeah, I knew about that. Yeah, I guess I would have known if Bonnie Raitt had sat in with them. Pretty sweet though. Good
Yes.
banter. Love the banter.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
good
I mean,
end of the set.
Chalk Dust at this point was the extended 45 version, you know. It was
Yeah.
just a straight on fire solo that was a little bit extended and they were out of there. It is not the chalk dust torture that people bow down to today.
Yeah. No, I mean I don't even think of them as the same song,
Right.
right? Like
Yeah.
entirely different beasts now, but
Yeah. Now, AC/DC Bag had only been played 4 times in 2.5 years at this point. Now, this was not a bust out. It was the second time after a pretty big bust out, 70 some shows, I think. And very glad to see that it came back. You
is
know,
that a weird spot? I mean, I know it is now. It's a weird
it's a
spot
very
for
weird
it,
spot. It's a very
but
weird
even
spot.
then, it was still a weird spot for it.
But I think it's because they had just brought it back. And then Trey was like, they walked off stage and he's like, oh, yeah, we did AC/DC the other night. Let's do that.
Yeah.
You know, like one of those audible calls kind of thing. But I mean, with AC/DC has a very strange bell curve in that, you know, the funk jams with it really elevated it. But now it's, you know, most of the time, and then you get a good one, and then, and then you get the game henge one, you know?
Yeah, what did you say? It was the 10th time? It was not the 10th one. It was like the 100th one.
Sample?
No, we're talking about Bag.
Oh, I said that they hadn't played it in years. If you look, they played it in 91 and then they stopped for 70 shows and then another 70 shows.
Oh, and then they started up again in 93.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I thought you said it was like the 10th one. And I was
No,
just
no,
thinking,
no,
I was
no,
like,
no.
that doesn't make sense.
No,
There
no,
was
it
like,
was the second one after they started playing it again. Second or third
okay.
one.
I misheard you or
Right. And then
misunderstood.
Sweet Adeline's where it belongs.
Yeah,
If you wanted
Sweet
to get a head
Adele.
start to your car, you did. If not, you hung out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I gotta say the crowd was feeling it. And I mean they always are, but I do love that's the time capsule part of it too, right? Part of it is like when you can hear the crowd and like I try to put myself in like that 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 venue at that time and everything. Everybody was just so happy. There was the whole thing about I don't remember where in the set list this was. He was talking about the donations too, right? Like dropping cans off. And I like they still do that shit, right? Like with like water wheel and everything. But like there's just I love the whole community aspect of it and everybody feeling themselves. And it's such a pure thing. It was really fun
It
to go
was
back and listen to.
right being built in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super exciting to go back and relive all that.
All right, next week we are doing a Grateful Dead show because it's the first Tuesday of the month. I hope that you join us, Tim, because it's my pick. T did 2 picks in a row. So it's my pick this week because I did the last one. And I'm going with RFK in 90, which may be one of the best late era Grateful Dead shows ever. And I think that there's a lot in there that you could work with.
I like the Dead. I'm not as well versed as you and T, but I enjoy it.
But I'm saying I think this is a good one to sink your teeth into. So RFK
All right,
90.
We'll see. I'll try to get in there. Thanks, guys.
We'll
We'll
see
see you
you
tomorrow
guys.
night.
10-9.